Duha stared at his computer screen until his eyes hurt. The numbers didn't make sense. 234 human children had disappeared from the outer colonies in the past 6 months. That was far too many to be a coincidence. He sat back in his chair at the Harmony Point Station, the massive space station where representatives from all galactic species met and worked. The office lights automatically dimmed as he rubbed his tired eyes. Being a Korean Terran diplomat meant long hours, but this was different. This was wrong. "Computer, show me the pattern of disappearances again," he said. A holographic map appeared above his desk. Red dots showed where children had vanished. The pattern was clear now. All disappearances happened near Avrini space. The Avrini were odd aliens. They looked like tall, thin humans with silver skin and huge black eyes. They always talked about protecting other species. Many aliens thought they were kind. Duha wasn't so sure. A quiet knock on his door made him look up. His friend Kix stood there. Kix was a blob-like alien who could change colors based on mood. Right now, Kix was deep blue, worried. "You've been here all night," Kix said, sliding into the room. "What's wrong?" Duha pointed at the map. "Children are missing. Too many of them. And look where they're disappearing." Kix changed to a pale yellow, surprised. "Near Avrini space. But they're protectors. They help others. Or that's what they want us to think." Duha stood up and paced the room. "I need access to their shipping records. Something's not right." Kix turned green. Thinking, "I work in cargo inspection. I could help you look." For the next hour, they dug through records. Duha felt his heart beat faster with each file they opened. Ships moving at odd hours, strange energy readings, and something called Project Innocence. "Look at this," Kix said, now purple with excitement. Large shipments of human-sized medical equipment, all going to secret Avrini bases. Duha felt sick. "They're taking our children. But why?" A message popped up on his screen. His hand shook as he read it. *Classified. Projecti Innocency. Human children show unique neural patterns during creative activities. Pattern can be harvested and stored. Further research needed *. They're experimenting on them, Duha whispered, his hands curled into fists. "They're stealing our children to study them." Kix turned deep red, angry. "This is wrong. Against all galactic laws. What will you do?" Duha stood up straight. He thought of his own sister's children back on Earth. He thought of all the families missing their little ones. His voice was steady when he spoke. "I'm going to stop them. But I need help." He looked at his alien friend. "Will you help me, Kix?" Kix changed to bright silver, determined. "The Avrini fool everyone with their talk of protection. But taking children, that's evil. I'll help you." Duha nodded. "First, we need someone who knows how to fight. Someone who can get into secure places." He pulled up another file. "I know just the person. A former military intelligence officer named Jae-yun." As he sent the message to Jae-yun, Duha looked again at the map of missing children. The Avrini thought humans were weak, that they could steal human children without consequences. They were about to learn how wrong they were. They were about to learn that nothing in the galaxy was more dangerous than humans protecting their young. Outside his window, the stars of the Milky Way sparkled. Somewhere out there, human children were waiting to be saved. Duha would make sure they got home, no matter what it took. Jae-yun walked into Duha's office like she owned it. She still moved like a soldier, even in civilian clothes. Her black hair was cut short, and her eyes missed nothing. "You found something big," she said. It wasn't a question. Duha nodded. "The Avrini are stealing our children. We have proof." He showed her the files and the map. Jae-yun's face grew hard as stone. She had fought in 3 space battles against pirates. But this made her angrier than any battle ever had. "How do we get them back?" she asked. Kix changed from silver to green. "The Avrini have 6 research stations. They call them protection centers, but their security is very strong. No security is perfect, Jai-yun said. She pulled up the station plans on the computer. Every lock has a key. Every system has a weak point. A quiet knock made them all turn. A woman stood in the doorway, her eyes red from crying. Duha recognized her from the missing children reports. "Are you Duha?" she asked. "I'm Sangme. My daughter, my son. She's been missing for 2 months. The police say they can't help." Duha pulled up a chair for her. "We know where she might be. We're going to get her back." Sangme pulled out a small photo. A smiling little girl with pigtails looked back at them. "She's only 8. She loves to draw. The day she disappeared, she was playing in our garden on Colony 7. Jai-yun studied the photo. Colony 7. That's near the 3rd Evrini station. She turned to Duha. "We need to get inside those stations." "I have an idea," Kik said, turning yellow with excitement. "The Evrini are hiring new workers for their stations. They need people to care for the children." Jai-yun smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Perfect. I can play the part of a worker. Get inside. See what's really happening." "It's dangerous," Duho warned. "If they catch you." "They won't," Jai-yun said. She looked at Sangme's photo again. "No one hurts children on my watch." They spent the next hours making plans. Kix would fake work papers for Jai-yun. Duha would keep working through diplomatic channels, and Sangme would help them understand how the Evrini had taken the children. They came as friends first, Sangme told them. Brought gifts, said they wanted to study human art. They seemed so nice. "That's how they work," Kix said, turning dark blue. "They pretend to be kind, but they only care about their research." An alert flashed on Duha's screen. He read it quickly, his face getting pale. "They're opening a new facility," he said. "They want to take 500 more children for their protection program." Jai-yun stood up. "We move now, before they take any more." "I'm coming too," Sangme said. Everyone looked at her. "I can't fight, but I know children. I can help." Duha nodded. "We'll need everyone's help for this." Jai-yun checked her hidden camera and recorder. "I'll be inside the station in 3 days. We'll find out what they're really doing to those children." As they left the office, Duha looked at his team. A soldier, a grieving mother, and a rebel alien. Not much against the powerful Evrini, but they had something the Evrini didn't understand. They had human determination, and humans never gave up on their children. 3 days, he said. Then we start bringing them home. Outside, the station's artificial night was beginning. Somewhere in the darkness of space, human children were waiting, and help was finally on the way. Jai-yun walked through the white halls of the Evrini research station. Her fake worker badge said her name was Lee. She had been here for 2 days now. Every minute made her angrier. The children weren't in cells. That would be too obvious. Instead, they lived in what the Evrini called creative spaces. Colorful rooms full of toys, art supplies, and games. But the children couldn't leave, and the walls had strange machines hidden behind them. "Time for art class," she said, leading a group of small children to the blue room. She recognized my son, Sangme's daughter, among them. The little girl loved to draw, just like her mother had said. As the children drew pictures, Jai-yun watched the walls. Hidden panels opened silently. Strange lights scanned the children's heads while they worked. The machines were recording something from their brains. Her hidden camera captured everything. The camera looked like a normal button on her uniform. Duha and the others would see all of this later. "Miss Lee," my son called out. "Look at my picture." Jai-yun walked over. The drawing showed my son's home, her mother, and their garden. The little girl's eyes were sad. "That's beautiful," Jai-yun said softly. "You'll see your home again soon. I promise." Later that day, Jai-yun found what she was looking for. The main research lab. She used the passcode she had stolen from another worker to get inside. The lab was huge. Walls of glowing containers lined the room. Each one held something that looked like blue light. Jai-yun read the labels and felt sick. Creativity Storage Unit 147. Human Child Subject 23. Imagination Extract. Age Group 7 to 9. Neural Pattern Collection. Drawing Session 89. They weren't just studying the children. They were stealing their creativity, taking their imagination, and storing it like battery power. Jai-yun's hidden camera recorded everything. Then she found the research notes on a computer. Asterisk human children show highest creativity levels in the galaxy. Their neural patterns during creative activities generate powerful energy. This energy can be harvested and used. Possible applications: enhanced AI, space travel, weapons. Asterisk note: subjects showed decreased creative ability after multiple harvesting sessions. Recommend continuous supply of new subjects. Asterisk. Jai-yun pressed her hand against one of the glowing containers. Inside was part of a child's mind. Their dreams, their imagination, their joy in making new things. Her communicator buzzed softly. A message from Duha. Did you find anything? It's worse than we thought, she typed back. They're not just studying the children. They're draining their creativity, stealing their imagination, using it like fuel. There was a long pause. Then, send the evidence. Then get out. We're taking this to the Galactic Council. But before Jai-yun could leave, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed in the hallway. Security breach in Research Lab 7, a voice announced. All personnel report to stations. Jai-yun quickly sent the files to Duha. Then she deleted her access from the computer. She had to get out. But first, she ran to the blue room where the children were kept. My son looked up as she entered. Something's wrong, the little girl said. Yes, Jai-yun replied. But help is coming. Real help. Tell the others. Be ready. She slipped out just as Avrini security guards ran past. They didn't look at her closely. Just another worker doing her job. But she wasn't just a worker anymore. She had the truth. The Avrini weren't protectors. They were thieves who stole the most precious thing of all, a child's imagination. And soon, everyone would know. Duha stood before the emergency meeting of alien representatives. The room was huge, with seats for every species in the Galactic Council. He had called them all here. Now he had to make them listen. Watch, he said, and played Jai-yun's video on the big screen. The room fell silent. They saw the children drawing. They saw the hidden machines. They saw the containers of stolen creativity. When the video ended, the room exploded with noise. The moss people's branches shook with anger. The crystal beings glowed bright red. Even the usually calm water spheres bubbled furiously. They steal children's dreams. The moss elder asked, their leaves turning dark with anger. Not just human children, Kik said, turning deep red. Look at this. New images appeared on the screen. Other alien children in different rooms. Young moss people trying to grow their first flowers. Baby crystal beings learning to shine, all being drained of their creativity. A tall figure stood up. It was Young-ho, the best lawyer in human space. He had defended aliens' rights before. Now he would fight for the children. This breaks every law we have, Young-ho said. His voice was calm but strong. No species may harm children. No one may steal their minds. The Avrini must be stopped. An Avrini representative stood up, his silver skin shining. We protect these children. We give them safe places to play. You steal their dreams. Sangmei shouted from her seat. You take their joy. My daughter barely draws anymore. You're killing their spirits. The water sphere leader floated forward. The humans speak truth. We have lost children too. We thought they were safe with the Avrini. We were wrong. One by one, other species stood up. Each had lost children. Each had believed the Evrini's lies about protection. "We must act now," Yumho said. He pulled up a legal document on the screen. "I have prepared charges, but we need all species to stand together." Duhawashta's representatives came forward to sign. The moss people pressed their branches to the document. The crystal beings touched it with their light. The water spheres left drops of their essence. "The Evrini are strong," Kix said, now glowing silver with determination. "They have many ships, many weapons. But we are stronger together," Duha replied. He looked at the growing list of allies. "And we fight for our children." Jayun's voice came through his communicator. She was still hiding in the Evrini station. "The children are getting weaker. The Evrini are taking more creativity each day. We don't have much time." Yumho stepped forward again. "I propose an emergency vote. Remove the Evrini from the council. Authorize immediate action to save the children." The vote was quick. The answer was clear. The Evrini representatives stormed out, threatening war. "Let them threaten," the Moss Elder said. "We will not let them hurt one more child." Duha looked at the battle plans forming on the screens. Ships from 20 species were moving into position. Rescue teams were getting ready. "Tomorrow," he said. "We go in tomorrow." He sent a message to Jayun. "Hold on. Help is coming. Keep the children safe one more day." The answer came back. "Hurry. The Evrini know something's wrong. They're moving children to new stations." Duha looked at his allies. Aliens of all shapes and sizes, united by one thing: love for their children. The Evrini had made a terrible mistake. They thought they could hide their crimes forever. But they had forgotten the first rule of the galaxy: never harm the young. Any young. Because their parents will tear the stars apart to save them. The Evrini High Council chamber was cold and white. 5 tall Evrini leaders sat on high chairs, looking down at Duha, Yumho, and the other representatives. Their silver skin glowed in the bright light. "You dare accuse us?" the head counselor asked. His black eyes showed no emotion. "We protect the children. We give them safety." Yumho stepped forward. He held up a small device. "Watch," he said, and pressed play. The device showed holograms of the children. It showed their bright creativity being drained away. It showed them getting sadder each day. Some of the younger Evrini guards watching looked shocked. "This is what you call protection?" Duha asked. His voice was quiet but angry. "You steal their dreams, their joy, their imagination." "The children's power is needed," another counselor said. "Their creativity can fuel great things. New weapons, better ships, stronger computers. They are children." Sangmei shouted from the back. "Not batteries." The Moss Elder moved forward, their leaves dark with anger. "We trusted you with our young ones. You betrayed everyone." The head counselor stood up. He was very tall, almost 3 meters high. "You cannot stop us. The research is too important. The power is too great. We already have stopped you," Yumho said. He showed another hologram. It displayed ships from 20 different species surrounding all Evrini stations. "Your choice is simple. Release the children now or face war with the entire galaxy." "You wouldn't dare attack us," the counselor said, but his silver skin had turned slightly gray with worry. Jayun's voice came through Duha's communicator. "More bad news. They're starting to delete research files. They're going to destroy the stored creativity. If that happens, the children might never get their full imagination back." Duha looked at the council. "You have 1 hour to release all children and turn over all research. After that, we come in, and we won't be gentle." A young Evrini scientist suddenly stepped forward. "High Council, we must stop. I've seen what the harvesting does to the children. It's wrong. We're supposed to protect, not harm." Other Evrini began to whisper. Some nodded. The council's silver faces turned darker with anger. "Silence," the head counselor shouted. "The research will continue. Guards, remove these." But he stopped. Through the big windows, they could see ships appearing. Hundreds of them. Ships from every species in the galaxy. They filled the space around the Avrini homeworld. Last chance, Yumho said. Surrender now. The youngest council member stood up. I vote to release the children. This must end. Traitor. The head counselor shouted, but more Avrini were stepping away from him. More were joining the other side. You have failed your own people, the Moss Elder said. You forgot what protection really means. Duha's communicator beeped again. Jayun's message was short. Children are ready, waiting for signal. Duha looked at the council one last time. Your time is up. What's your answer? The head counselor opened his mouth to shout again, but the other council members stopped him. The youngest one spoke. We surrender. We will release the children, all of them, and give you all research data. A wise choice, Young-ho said. He was already writing the surrender document. Outside, the ships moved closer. Inside, Avrini guards began walking away from the High Council. The time of secrets was over. Duha sent a message to Jayun. Start getting them out. We're coming to help. The rescue was about to begin. And soon, very soon, the children would be going home. Jayun moved quickly through the white halls of the Avrini station. Behind her walked 20 children. Their faces were tired but hopeful. My son held her hand tightly. Remember the plan, Jayun whispered to them. Stay quiet. Stay together. Her communicator showed a map of the station. Green dots marked friendly forces. Red dots showed Avrini guards who still followed the High Council. More green dots appeared as rescue teams entered the station. This way, she said, leading the children toward the ship docks. Other groups of children were moving too, all heading to freedom. In the control room, Duha watched screens showing all 6 Avrini stations. Rescue teams from every species worked together. Moss people used their plants to block doors. Crystal beings made light bridges between buildings. Water spheres carried the smallest children safely in their bubbles. Station 3 is clear, Kix reported, his color bright orange with excitement. All children accounted for. Station 5 needs help, another voice called. Some guards are fighting back. Duha pressed a button. Send teams to Station 5. No weapons, we don't fight near the children. Young-ho worked at another screen, making sure every child was recorded, every name checked. No one would be left behind. 412 children rescued so far, he said. 200 more to go. Sang-mai watched the screens too. She hadn't seen my son yet, but she knew Jayun would protect her. In the station, Jayun's group reached a big door. An angry guard stood there, but before he could move, a young Avrini scientist stepped out. Stop, the scientist said to the guard. No more hurting children. Help us save them instead. The guard looked at the children's faces. He looked at his weapon. Then he lowered it. This way, he said, opening the door. The ships are ready. More Avrini were changing sides. More were helping. They had learned the difference between real protection and harm. Rescue ships, move in, Duha ordered. Begin docking procedures. Big ships approached each station. They were special medical ships with doctors from every species. They would help heal the children's minds, help restore their stolen creativity. Jayun, report status, Duha called. Almost there, she answered. We can see the ships now. Wait, something's wrong. Red lights flashed in the station. A voice boomed. Emergency protocols activated. Station self-destruct in 10 minutes. The High Council. Kix turned deep red with anger. They'd rather destroy everything than surrender. Get those children out now, Duha ordered. All rescue teams began running. Jayun picked up my son. Everyone run. To the ships. They ran through white halls. Behind them, machines began to spark and smoke. The station was falling apart. 5 minutes to self-destruct, the voice said. The rescue ship's doors stood open. Medical teams waited to help. Jai-yun's group ran onto the nearest ship. "More coming," she shouted. "Make room." Other groups ran in too. Crystal children, moss children, water sphere children, all rushing to safety. 2 minutes to self-destruct. Station 4 clear. Station 2 clear. Station 5 clear. All children accounted for. The rescue ships pulled away from the stations. Behind them, explosions began. "Get us out of here," Duha ordered. The ships moved to safe distance. The stations exploded in bright light, but they were empty now. Every child was safe. In the medical ship, my son finally saw her mother. They hugged and cried. Around them, other families reunited. Other children found safety. "We did it," Jai-yun said to Duha through the communicator. "We got them all." But their work wasn't done. The children needed healing. The Avrini needed justice. And the galaxy needed new laws to protect its youngest members. The rescue was complete. Now the recovery would begin. News spread fast across the galaxy. Every video screen showed the same images: burning Avrini stations, rescued children, and angry politicians. Duha watched the reports from his office on Harmony Point. The Avrini High Council had escaped during the rescue. Now they were telling lies about what happened. "We were helping those children," the head counselor said on screen. "The humans attacked us, destroyed valuable research. They are the dangerous ones." Kicks changed to dark blue with worry. Some people believe them. 3 trading planets have stopped working with humans. "Let them believe lies for now," Duha said. "The truth will win." In the medical center, Jai-yun watched the children recover. Doctors had found a way to return their stolen creativity. It wasn't easy, but it was working. My son sat with other children, drawing pictures. Her colors were bright again. Her imagination was coming back. But some children still struggled. "It will take time," the doctor said. "You can't rush healing." Young-ho worked day and night, fighting political battles. Some species were scared of making the Avrini angry. They wanted to pretend nothing had happened. "Look at this," he said to Duha, showing more files they had saved. The Avrini didn't just steal creativity. They sold it, made weapons from it. Some governments bought these weapons. That's why they hide the truth, Duha realized. They're not just protecting the Avrini. They're protecting themselves. The Moss Elder called an emergency meeting. All species had to choose sides now. "Many are afraid," the elder said. Their leaves trembled. "The Avrini have powerful friends, but we cannot let fear win. Our children matter more than politics." Sangmai spoke to news channels, telling her story. Other parents joined her. Soon hundreds of families were speaking up, showing proof, sharing their pain. "They tried to steal our children's souls," Sangmai said. "How can anyone defend that?" But the Avrini fought back. They closed their borders, threatened war, said they would reveal secrets about other species. "Let them threaten," Jai-yun said. She watched my son playing with crystal and moss children. "We know we did the right thing." Duha got a strange message. It was from the young Avrini scientist who had helped them. "Many of us want to change," the scientist wrote. "The High Council doesn't speak for all Avrini. Help us fix our mistakes." More Avrini joined this new movement. They shared more proof of the Council's crimes, showed how the Council had lied to their own people. "The Council said we were helping children grow," one Avrini teacher said. "They never told us we were hurting them. Now we know the truth, and we choose to stand with the humans." But some battles were harder. Trading planets still refused human ships. Some governments still supported the Avrini Council. "Politics," Young-ho said with anger. "They care more about power than children." "Then we'll change the politics," Duha said. He looked at the latest pictures from the medical center. Happy children playing. Families together again. The galaxy must learn. Hurting children has a price. Jai-yun sent him a new report. The children were healing faster than expected. Their creativity was growing stronger. And something new was happening. They're helping each other, she wrote. Human children teaching crystal children to draw. Moss children showing humans how to grow flowers. They're making something beautiful from this pain. Duha smiled. The Avrini Council had wanted to steal children's creativity. Instead, they had shown the galaxy how powerful that creativity could be. The battle wasn't over, but the truth was winning, one child at a time. The Galactic Council chamber was packed. Every species sent representatives. Today was the trial of the Avrini High Council. Young-Ho stood before them all. Behind him sat hundreds of families, human, crystal, moss, and water sphere. All had lost children to the Avrini. All wanted justice. Look at these children, Young-Ho said. He showed pictures of the kids before and after their rescue. The Avrini didn't protect them. They hurt them, stole from them, and sold what they stole. The head counselor and other Avrini leaders sat in the defendant's box. Their silver skin had turned dull gray. They knew they were in trouble. We were advancing science, the head counselor said, but his voice shook. Everything we did was for progress. Progress. Jayun stepped forward. She held up my son's drawings. This is what your progress looks like. Before you took her, full of color and life. After, gray and empty. You call this progress. Duha watched as more evidence was shown. The secret weapons made from children's creativity. The deals with corrupt governments. The lies told to everyone. The Avrini High Council is charged with crimes against children, Young-Ho announced. Crimes against all species. Crimes against the future itself. The young Avrini scientist who had helped them testified next. They told us we were helping, but we were stealing children's dreams. Many of us didn't know. When we found out, we couldn't stay silent. More Avrini came forward to tell the truth. Guards who had quit, teachers who had helped the children escape, scientists who had destroyed research rather than hurt more kids. The head counselor tried to argue. Other governments knew. They bought our weapons. They're guilty too. Yes, Young-Ho agreed. And they will face justice next. But today is about you. My son walked to the front of the room. She wasn't afraid anymore. You took my drawings. You took my happy thoughts. But you couldn't take my heart. And now I'm strong again. Other children joined her. Crystal children shining bright. Moss children growing tall. Water sphere children flowing free. All standing together. The children show us the way forward, the Moss elder said. They forgive, but they don't forget. They heal, but they remember why they were hurt. We must learn from them. The council members were found guilty. They would spend many years in prison. Their power was gone forever. But that wasn't enough. Young-Ho had written new laws. Duha presented them to the Galactic Council. The Young-Ho Doctrine, Duha explained. New rules to protect all children. No experiments without parent permission. No taking creativity or dreams. No using children for weapons. Ever. Every species voted yes. Even the new Avrini leaders, chosen to replace the High Council, supported the laws. We will spend years fixing our mistakes, the new Avrini leader said. We will help heal what we hurt, and we will never harm children again. In the medical center, Jayun watched more children go home. Their creativity was back. Their joy was returning. Some even made friends with young Avrini who visited to help. The children teach us, Sang Mai said, watching my son play. They show us how to be better. Duha looked at the final reports. The weapon programs were shut down. The corrupt officials were arrested. The truth had won. Justice isn't just punishment, Young-Ho said. It's making sure bad things don't happen again. The galaxy was changing. Species work together better now. They watched out for each other's children. They remembered what happened when they looked away. And somewhere, in a bright room full of drawings, human and alien children played together, creating new dreams that no one could steal. 5 years had passed since the Evrini crisis. Duha stood in his new office at the Galactic Child Protection Center. The walls were covered with children's artwork from 20 different species. Another successful year, Kix said, his color a happy yellow. He showed Duha the latest reports. No child trafficking. No illegal experiments. The Young Ho doctrine works. Through the window, Duhe could see the center's playground. Human children played with young moss people, their laughter mixing with the rustle of growing leaves. Crystal children made rainbow lights, while water sphere children danced in their bubbles. And yes, even young Evrini played there too, their silver skin shining as they learned to create rather than take. Director Duha, his computer called. Jae-yun is here with the graduation class. Jae-yun walked in with a group of teenagers, the same children they had rescued 5 years ago. My son was among them, now 13 and tall. Welcome to graduation day, Duha said. You are the first class of the Galactic Youth Peace Program. The teenagers stood proud. They had spent years healing, then learning, then helping others heal. Now they would become teachers themselves. My son, would you like to show your project? Jae-yun asked. My son stepped forward. She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared. It showed a new kind of creativity detector, one that helped children grow their imagination instead of stealing it. The Evrini tried to take our creativity, my son said, but we learned to make it stronger. Now we can help other children make their creativity stronger too. Young Ho, who had become the head of Galactic Child Law, smiled from his seat. From pain came progress. Real progress this time. Sangmai watched her daughter with proud tears. She now ran support programs for parents of all species, helping them protect their children. The center has opened 10 new branches, she reported, one in each galaxy sector, all species working together to keep children safe. The young Evrini scientist who had helped them, now a teacher, stepped forward. Our biggest challenge was changing minds, making people understand that children need freedom to grow. And love to grow, added the moss elder, their leaves a happy green. The Young Ho doctrine isn't just law, it's love made into rules. Duha looked at his old team. Jae-yun still trained security forces, teaching them to protect without harm. Kix ran the center's communication system, making sure no child's cry for help went unheard. Young Ho kept writing better laws. Show them the surprise, Jae-yun said to my son. My son pressed another button. The hologram changed to show hundreds of pictures, children who had been rescued, now growing up happy, art they had made, songs they had written, dreams they had built. We call it the Victory Garden, my son explained, because good things can grow from bad times. Later, after the graduation ceremony, Duha walked in the center's real garden. Crystal flowers grew beside earth roses. Moss people saplings shared soil with water sphere pools. Children of all species played together. Did you ever think it would turn out this way? Jae-yun asked, joining him. No, Duha admitted. I just wanted to save some children. But they saved us too. They taught us how to be better. Above them, the stars shone bright. Somewhere out there, the former Evrini High Council sat in their prison cells. But their evil had led to something good. Species that never trusted each other now worked together. Children who were once victims now helped others grow strong. Next year's class is even bigger, Jae-yun said. Children from 30 species. Duha smiled. The galaxy had learned its lesson. No one would steal children's dreams again. Instead, they would help those dreams grow. And in the garden, under the stars, the future played and laughed and created new wonders, free and safe at last.